Hi, Carolyn. The young couple and their families were so excited to welcome a new baby boy to the family. Now, friends and family are stopping by a small memorial at the spot where they died, just a few minutes from home, 1 mile away from their house. Here's Jennifer Loera Zarco last week celebrating her 25th birthday with her 26-year-old boyfriend, Mark Trejo Saldivar. The couple, excited to become new parents in a few weeks, was struck and killed by a car in Pomona Wednesday night.
Surreal. Like, it doesn't feel real. I feel like I'm dreaming. It's a bad dream. I'm going to wake up and she's going to be here. Jennifer was the youngest of 4 sisters. Tonight, I spoke with 2 of them, Amber Torres and Andrea Solorio. She was smart, intelligent. She was beautiful. If you let her tell it, she was the prettiest of all the sisters. She was so sweet, nice, caring. She was the best aunt, daughter, sister. Just after 9:30 Wednesday night, Pomona Police Department says it responded to a domestic violence call from a house on East 10th and South Elm Street. Officers arrived and started speaking to a person involved in the violence when the other returned home in his truck, 31-year-old Marshall Judson. Police say he intentionally drove into a parked police car and then took off, leading police on a 2-mile pursuit before crashing into another car on Gary Avenue and County Road. Mark was behind the wheel and Jennifer in the passenger seat. Both were pronounced dead on the scene. We just finished celebrating her birthday on the 27th, and 2 weeks before that we threw her baby shower. So all we were doing was taking her shopping for last minute things she didn't get at the shower. Torres says the couple had recently been remodeling an ADU at his parents' house in Santa Ana, where they planned to live together after the baby was born. Mark's father, Tony Trejo, says his son had an MBA and worked 2 jobs to prepare for the new addition.
It's unfair. It's unfair, and it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that the little one didn't get to take his first breath. He was 5 days from it. Tell your loved ones you love them. Kiss them, even if they're going across the street.
What do you say to the man who was behind the wheel of the car when he struck?
I have a lot of things to say, and it's not very nice.
I just hope that they give him the maximum penalty, and hopefully we can get the justice that we need for my little sister and Mark and the baby.
The family now raising money online to bury Mark, Jennifer, and their baby boy side by side. And not only 2 lives were lost last night, it was 3. It was 3. The baby is a person. It was its own being, and it was almost here. He was only a couple of weeks from being a part of this family. Judson is facing several charges, including driving under the influence, driving without a valid license, felony evasion, and vehicular manslaughter. Mark and Jennifer's baby was due on April 20th. Reporting live in Pomona, Macy Jenkins, NBC4 News.
Macy, thank you. Continuing coverage tonight, a minor has now been arrested in connection to the death of a 12-year-old girl who died from a brain bleed in February. That was after an alleged bullying incident at her school in Reseda. NBC4's Darsha Phillips is live at the family's home in Sherman Oaks with their reaction tonight. Darsha.
Well, Carolyn, last month, LAPD told NBC4 it was investigating Kimberly Zavaletta's death as a homicide. Today, they made an arrest. Now, this all stemmed from an incident that happened back on February 17th, according to Kimberly's family. Kimberly was trying to protect her older sister from bullies at her school, which is Reseda Charter High School, when one of them threw a metal water bottle at Kimberly's head. She suffered a brain injury and died days later at the hospital. She was just 12 years old. Now, this video that you're seeing, the family says, shows the moments leading up to when Kimberly was hit on February 17th. The family telling us tonight they believe one of the students in that video was the juvenile who was arrested by LAPD today. Now, I spoke with Kimberly's uncle about the arrest. Take a listen.
You know, there's a lot of mixed emotions here. We definitely need to get justice for Kimberly. We're not looking just to lash out or punish anybody, but unfortunately in the climate and the culture that we live, without repercussions, this is not going to be a one-time thing. If there are kids who are known to be bullies, who terrorize the school and terrorize kids, the system needs to cope with them. And if I had the power to do that, which is something that our lawmakers need to look into, is to remove the bullies from the school.
Now, we also spoke to Kimberly's mom. She told us in Spanish through her tears that she is living a nightmare and misses her daughter every minute of every day. And the family has filed a lawsuit against LAUSD, claiming that they failed to investigate the many incidents of bullying that Kimberly's mom reported about that group of students who were bullying her daughters. Now, LAUSD did respond to NBC4, saying that it does not comment on pending litigation. That's the latest tonight from Sherman Oaks. I'm Darsha Phillips, NBC4 News.
Thank you, Darsha. Former Attorney General Pam Bondi is vowing to continue to fight for the Trump administration even after she was fired. Bondi has faced backlash for her handling of the Epstein files and the enforcement of the president's immigration policies. NBC4's Conan Nolan has reaction to the president's latest cabinet shakeup.
She's out. Pam Bondi let go by President Donald Trump today as Attorney General of the United States. The president posting on Truth Social that Bondi did a tremendous job and will be transitioned to an important new role in the private sector.
I, Pamela Bondi, do solemnly swear.
Bondi, the former state attorney general in Florida, had long been a loyal ally of President Trump's. Just yesterday, she was with him at the Supreme Court and for his address to the nation. But NBC News reports the president had been growing frustrated with Bondi because she wasn't delivering on his vision. She's been unsuccessful in bringing cases against the president's perceived enemies, including New York Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey, and that the mortgage fraud case against California Senator Adam Schiff, who led the first impeachment trial against the president, is also falling apart.
How are military strikes on these boats in the Caribbean legal? And you refuse to even answer that question.
You were asked. Law degree,
excuse me.
Schiff, who had a bitter exchange with Bondi during her appearance last October before the Senate Judiciary Committee, was happy to see her go, writing in a post on X that Bondi saw an unprecedented weaponization of the Justice Department that brought the rule of law to its knees. But the biggest misstep Bondi may have made was on the Epstein files, such as when last year she said this about Epstein's client list.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
But then the Justice Department released a memo stating it had found no incriminating client list and no credible evidence of blackmail. That caused a huge backlash in the Trump base, many who believe there was a cover-up. It also cast renewed scrutiny on Mr. Trump's one-time friendship with Epstein.
I call it the Epstein hoax.
Bondi was scheduled to testify in 2 weeks before the House Oversight Committee on the Epstein probe. Members of the committee from both parties still want her to appear. Long Beach Congressman Robert Garcia is the ranking Democrat.
You now have an opportunity to come clean. You now have an opportunity to be honest. You don't work for Donald Trump anymore. Tell us the truth about why was there this cover-up.
Conan Nolan, NBC4 News.
The 4 astronauts on board the Artemis II are now officially headed toward the moon. Today, NASA successfully conducted its engine burn, sending the Orion capsule on its path toward the moon. The mission will put humans farther from Earth than ever before.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to be able to tell you that for the first time since 1972, during Apollo 17, human beings have left Earth orbit. From this point forward, the laws of orbital mechanics are going to carry our crew to the moon, around the far side, and back to Earth.
Remarkable. Cannot wait for these images. Now, tomorrow, the crew will conduct a CPR demonstration in space and carry out a communications test to a system of radio antennae on Earth. And then Monday, a big day when the crew is set to fly around the moon. The moon. Did I say move? They're moving around the moon. All
Yes.
right, meteorologist David Bigger is here. David, this is something you've been following quite closely. This burn was very important today.
Yeah, so it's called the translunar injection burn. That is the burn that sets you off toward the moon. And it's important because once it's completed, you're committed.
Yeah.
There's no turning around. And it also sets up the commitment to eventually splash back down in the Pacific. So essentially everything's all set up now. They're just going to go out, fly around the moon, and head back.
And it's a 10-day mission in total. We've talked about so far. It's really gone quite smoothly, but there have been a few little hiccups.
Yeah, just a couple of small ones. They had a little toilet issue that got fixed pretty quickly, fortunately. They've also, it sounds like they've had a little bit of I think it was a leaky valve in their water dispenser system, but everything they've already got procedures for, backups, and they've been testing. It's a shakedown for the vehicle, so they're testing it out and getting ready for future missions.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So
let's
now
talk about our weather.
Let me bring you back down to our surface, and we're going to show you what it looks like right now from LAX, where we actually have clear skies out there. We had a really interesting kind of setup across the region today. We had a nice onshore breeze that kept everybody cool, or actually I should say pretty close to normal for this time of year, just cool when you compare it to the last month or so. But we're starting to get ready to see changes as we go through the overnight hours tonight and into early tomorrow, which is going to bring about the offshore winds. So LAX right now, 61 degrees. We only got to the upper 60s earlier this afternoon. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little